Hi, my name is Georgia Gibson. I'm a licensed independent social worker in Columbia, South Carolina. I am joined by my two colleagues, Ashante Kitt, social worker in North Carolina, Charlie Dixon, school social worker, District 1 in South Carolina.
Hello.
Today, we'll be discussing working mom versus stay-at-home mom. And to start it off, I want to say I was a stay-at-home mom until my children were in middle school.
Bless you.
Right, girl. See how you did that.
Can you tell us how you went about that? So did you stay home? Did you do everything? Tell us about that.
Right. Was it because you had to, or because that's what your family decided, you and your husband decided that you needed to do or you wanted to do?
Prior to being married, we decided together that I would stay at home because I was a latchkey child in New York. And so I decided to do the opposite for my children, which was be at home when they came home, help them with homework, go to all their functions at the schoolhouse, and just be there for them. So it was a group choice, not an individual choice. And you?
So what did it look like for your family? So did you stay home with them? You said from middle school, but did you stay home with them from birth to middle school? Never did anything in between? What did you do for you in that, I guess?
For me, I worked at the post office for a little while. And when doing that, I worked the night shift, which allowed me to be home during the day.
Okay.
And my husband was working just day hours. So we were able to manage the children without any real daycare. We just did a couple of hours here and there for working with all the children, meeting other moms and dads, and maybe parties and stuff for the kids to go to. And when I decided to go back to school to become a social worker, I would go to class and maybe I would send them to daycare for when I had a class. They would even come with me to my night classes. So they were a part of the process of becoming a social worker.
So when you decided, okay, now I want to go work, was it because they were older and you were like, they're good now? Or was it something else that made you like, I'm ready to go back into my career or get into a career?
For me, a career was not something that I strived for. Social work came to me as a gift. I was in college at the University of South Carolina where I studied psychology. And the professor said, there's a class I think you should take. And it just happened to be social work.
Okay.
And so that was how it manifested into a career. Social work was something I did all the time, just never knew there was a title and a profession to it.
Yeah, right.
But me being a stay-at-home mom allowed me to allow my husband to pursue his career, which, for some folks would say, why would his career matter more than yours? But for me, it was letting you achieve yours with the understanding that I will then go out and try to work on mine.
Yeah, team effort. So he supported you, I'm sure, when it was time for you to go, start doing your classes.
But working with you ladies and some other wonderful colleagues, I found out that at that job I was in the minority. We have an avid worker. We have an avid worker times 3.
Yeah.
She's had multiple jobs at the same time.
Yeah. But I remember I went to Columbia College, and I'll never forget my senior year. So one of the girls in my class talked about wanting to be a stay-at-home mom. And then the teacher or the professor, whatever, said, how many of you want to be stay-at-home moms? And the majority of the class hands went flying in the air. I remember being like, what? Why are we are in our senior year. We need to get our careers. We need to get our jobs. Like, y'all want to be a stay-at-home mom? I remember feeling like hurt and like, woman, hear me roar. Like, why are we here if you want to be a stay-at-home mom? Like, I will never forget that my senior year. And I'm like, we're about to graduate. And your aspiration is to be a stay-at-home mom. So why'd you go get your degree? I've never been in that mindset, but I had to learn, like, from people like you who actually did it, that it was okay. It's not like you have to be, pregnant in heels or whatever they call it, barefoot and pregnant, and baking bread. It's more to being a stay-at-home mom, than that type of lifestyle. I've just never been the type that even is like, that's never been my thing. Having 4 children, you would think. I remember when after like my 3rd, someone said, "So are you staying home now?" And I was just like, I was offended. Like, that's how many kids I had. Doesn't mean I had to stay at home. Like, what is wrong with you? But I think they had a good intention of just kind of saying, "Oh, you must surely if you stay at home now." Like, you know, and even since I've been here, you know, when people see that I'm home, they're almost like, "Oh, that's good that you're home with your little one, that you can do that." And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm just doing this for right now, but that's not what I want to do. I just don't. I want to work. I want to be a career oriented, and I want them to go to school and be with other kids all day. And I'll come see you. And that's just that's what I love you.
She's at home.
And those couple hours we get in the evening, they're gonna be meaningful. But you know, obviously it just never has been. But thank God that we do. We're unique in that we're school social workers when we were. So we did have those breaks off with them, the spring breaks and the summers. And we have a very static schedule with weekends and evenings being free. So my career still wasn't as, you know, intense or labor intensive and away from the kids as it could have been if I had chosen maybe another profession. Okay. So I think that is a big part of why I can do it and enjoy doing it. And my husband's schedule, he's had every schedule that you can name, evenings, you know, days, whatever, but worked around that. And then I had a lot of family support. My parents and my in-laws were all in town, so anytime we needed something. So that could be a totally different situation for me if I didn't have that. Okay. Maybe I would have wanted to stay home more, be for them more if we weren't around family and friends and people who could really help us out, you know.
Right. Okay, so Ashante, you said 4 children, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 girls, right? Okay. And can you give us their age range just in case?
Oh yeah, so my oldest is 13, and then my next one under that is almost 11. And then there's a 7-year gap, and I have a almost 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Gotcha.
So there's one in every developmental stage.
Yes, that's nice. Okay, and Georgia, I don't think you said either, like how old your children are, what they are, and all that good stuff.
Okay, I have 2 sons, and one is 26. He just graduated with his social work degree. Mommy's proud. 2 social workers in the home, analyzing each other's every move. And I have a younger son who's 24, and he's married. So we've just embarked on some new territory, and we're excited about that. And Miss Charlotte?
So I have one son who is 5, almost 6, and one who is on the way. And I think my situation might even be, even though I'm a working mom and have always been, I think mine is even a bit more unique than yours. Like Georgia mentioned, I've always had more than one job. Like, it is really weird to me now to not. I mean, it was even at a point where Georgia and I met in grad school. And so it was even a point where I was in grad school full-time. I worked full-time for BSS, and I still bartended on the weekends. And it wasn't, yes, I was still bartending. I came to the district, and it was just like, why would I ever work one job? This is so weird to me. Like, let's keep getting this right. So I've never, until now, I guess the mom and the wife have become that job, which is a whole nother interesting set of things because they don't necessarily pay you with a check. I tried to ask my husband, like, where is my pay? No, there was really it was good. Like, I cook all the time, and it's like real food.
Words of affirmation.
You know, that there is no check to cover that. But I guess, like you mentioned, as a school social worker, we have those breaks. And so for the last 2 summers, I've been home with my 5-year-old. Well, I'll be honest, that first summer was really fun. I mean, he was 4, and we did all of these things, and we went places, and I found, I was all in Facebook and all on the mommy blogs, and we were at all the stuff, and I found all these free things, and we were at the splash pad every week, and we did science experiments, and we wrote stuff, and he just wrote his name all the time, and he went to school, and the teacher was like, what did you do all summer?
You used to have goals. You're like, this summer, this summer, I'm teaching him how to read.
It was these things. So last year we didn't quite get all the way to reading, but
Yeah.
we had all our letters and the letter sounds, and we were, it was good. But then came this summer, and I don't know, I guess the realization of having more than one, which is why I always tip my hat off to you, Quad Mom. My second one isn't even here yet, and I'm just like, I need a nap now. Yeah. So I don't, and much like you, I never saw myself as a stay-at-home mom. That just wasn't.
Right.
It's not what I grew up with. My mom was a teacher.
My mom was
There was no,
yeah.
I mean, my mom was a teacher, and truthfully, I spent, because she was a teacher in Title I schools, I spent a lot more time with family members and my dad than I spent with her.
Right.
Realistically,
Right.
I mean, that's because she was a teacher, and you know, so I spent a lot more time other places, but I didn't necessarily look at that as a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw things from different. So no, maybe I didn't spend a lot of time cooking with my mom, but my grandmama, me and her were in the kitchen all the time.
Exactly.
Or my dad taught us about when we're supposed to take out the trash, or whose turn it was to clean this, whatever.
So I think those positive experiences were shaping who we ended up, because I think if we had had negative experiences with working moms, or something traumatic, like a traumatic experience that happened because our parent wasn't around, that may have shaped a lot about how we decided to parent. Because a lot of times we were going to either parent like we were parented, or sometimes we're going to be like, I don't want to be anything like them. I'm going to do things, or you do a little of both, because I'm doing a little of both. Like, you know, my mom and dad did, I think they did a great job raising me, but then there are things that I'm like, I'm going to do this with my kids, you know, and things like that. But it's nothing. I think it's just with growth and with education. Some things are with education, and just with things that are the way the world is today, different than when we came up, you know. So.
Right. And so not knocking a stay-at-home mom, but sometimes I do wonder, like, no offense to the stay-at-home moms, but I feel like I do the same thing that the stay-at-home mama do, but then I got to go to work too. Like, I got to come home and cook the dinner and make sure the house is clean. And no, I might not homeschool you, but are we homeschooling it? Like, I'm teaching you some things around this table. You know, if you, my 5-year-old last year decided he would not do schoolwork at school. And so then, we did it at home. You were going to do it, and you were going to take it to the teacher. You know, so there was still educational process happening. And so I do wonder, like, sometimes I don't think it's fair. Hey, Deidre. Sometimes I don't think it's fair because I do it all too.
I know, and I know that's a big argument between, like, not the war, but, you know, a lot of times you get those discussions of stay-at-home mom versus working mom, who, because, you know, I think they had this thing, if a stay-at-home mom was paid, their salary would be like $70,000 a year. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah. So then do we add the same line that right. So you've been underpaid. But then do I need to add, I will say half of that. Do I get to add half of that to my salary? I still make lunch every day for people and to sit with them, and I make the dinner, and you know. Right. So it is one of those things, because sometimes I do get a little disgruntled, and I'm like, maybe, you know, and like right now I am in the position of a stay-at-home mom, and I'm like, well, dang, stay-at-home moms, I give y'all. Yeah, no, I couldn't do it. I'm saying that I don't think it's fair, but I couldn't do it. Like, I give it up to women. Today, okay, I got 2 weeks to these kids start. I can't. I mean, I just, you have to have a certain level of, and then as another preacher, you can't see her. Can we see her? No kids. Say hello. Say hello. All right. Bye. See, those are the fun things that fun things. It's like you don't get a moment. I would say you don't get a moment to yourself. You don't have any. I mean, you get adult interaction, but like I love having like conversations with my coworkers about current events, things that are happening outside of my home, having another purpose. Not to say you don't have a purpose, but I'm just saying another purpose outside of, you know, and a lot of times that's like your me time away from the kids. It's like you, that drive in the car, man, that is like some serious, I'm like, call me if I'm in the car on my way to work, call me if I'm on my way home. That's it. Other times, don't call me, text me, because 9 times out of 10, I got somebody right here, or I'm doing something else. So it's, you've heard me on the phone. I'm like, Georgia, I have to call
Go
you.
ahead, call me later.
Or yeah, call me later. I'll text you later because it's very hard to have any time to yourself when you're constant. And stay-at-home moms, I will say they have like, they're on it. They are organized. They have like those nap times online. They have their snack times, lunch times. Yeah, so they're more organized and structured. Absolutely. And I'm not there, and I haven't tried. You know, I'm like, I need to do that. I need to get there because I'm not there at all. You know, so.
Shirley mentioned you staying at home, and you've been at home now for a couple of weeks with your young
months. Couple of months.
Okay.
Just a couple of months here.
A couple of months.
Give me all of my days. Portion of that, like 60 days, okay? Not 14, 16.
And having to, change that role and with school starting in both states, is there any anxiety or any trepidations that you're feeling right now? Do I need a job? Need a job today?
Right.
Will that organize you and keep you organized versus me being organized because I'm home?
Right. I think so. Like, I had a lot of anxiety. Like, I mean, to the point where I was, I had to like literally read scripture every day about anxiety and about not worrying and about faith. Every day. Like, I had a thing on my phone where like when I woke up, I was like, boom, remember this, you're taken care of, you're okay, you're not to be anxious, you're not to fear. So for me, my faith and spirituality has definitely helped me to the point where now I'm like, you know what, I'm not. I will say that I was, but it took work. It takes work. It didn't just happen where I was anxious one day and the next day I wasn't. It was definitely me increasing my faith and remembering who I rely on, and it's not my own, it's not on my own that it's not on my own. So now I'm okay. I'm like, you know what, I have to just keep that self affirmation of the positive talking of, you know what, I'm qualified. I've got great work experience. I'm a great person. I'm a friendly person. And so in time, when it's right for me, I'm putting out applications, I'm putting out things. So everything will fall in line for me and I'm going to be good. I've never not been taken care of and I'm going to continue to be taken care of. So I think, but yeah, the anxiety was there. I was like, oh my God. But then everything, step by step, I started getting things done. The kids are good. I know that they're happy. They're making friends. I'm, starting to explore what so things are falling into place. But I think you have to get outside. You have to start as a social worker. We have to start thinking about ourselves and our mental health and knowing, okay, I'm not okay. I'm feeling anxious all the time. So I need to do something about it and not just wallow because people are dependent on me. Yes. Little people are dependent on me to get up every day and do things with them. And I can't just wallow in what are we going to do now? So yeah.
That kind of brings me to a question. We kind of talk about it, stay-at-home mom versus working mom.
Right.
And then the subject of stay-at-home moms and what their jobs are worth. So then is a stay-at-home mom work? And then is that your work? Is that your job? Right. A stay-at-home mom, your job, a homemaker, or whatever it's called, is that your job? And do you put that on your resume? Like, is that a part of what you put? Will you put that? I mean, I guess it's social work, like, you wouldn't necessarily have to. It doesn't look like a gap.
Exactly.
But what I will say, I didn't think about it until I happened to watch either a YouTuber or something on TV where it says, what were your skills? And the lady said, I was home with my children. And somebody said, do you know you've managed a budget? You've time managed individuals. You've allowed the children to grow.
Right.
You've done so many different things that an organization will look for as an asset, but for some reason we don't see it as an asset.
I agree. Yes.
And so, because you think, okay, you have X amount of dollars coming in as a married couple with 2 or 3 children. Right. That is a finite amount of numbers.
Right.
Just like if 2 people work, but it's just sometimes extremely lower versus if 2 people work.
And that's another reason I work too. I will say, I'm glad that I like to work, but I need to work. Yeah, we are a 2-income household, so it's not like if I wanted to quit and be like, I think I want to be a stay-at-home mom now. I think my life is like, let's just switch. It's like we need to cut out a lot of things around here and downside and do a lot of things. So I think that is a big part of it too, because I see a lot of people say I want to get back out there and work, and they don't. They have that gap. So how do you market yourself to say, yeah.
And I will say that was something I struggled with when I first started looking for jobs in social work. And I was not giving myself the credit or the props or any positive word that you can use. Because yes, you manage a family, you're able to keep them on point in budget, keep everybody sane and safe, fed, clothed, all those things that your spouse or whoever else you're helping, because it could be where the male spouse is at home, or if you have same gender relationships, it could be where your partner's home. So we have to be able to give some credit to what they're doing. And we fall short in not giving ourselves credit as women and sometimes even as social workers, because we're in the field of giving support to one another, which is what led me to where I am now. Was life caught up to me and I hadn't been giving myself. And so our next few sessions might be dealing with anxiety and depression and how we deal with it. And when we see it in others, but we fail to see it in ourselves. When we're hitting the wall, when we've given too much and we haven't put anything back in our own cups. Because if you try to pour from an empty cup, nothing will come out.
That's it. Self-care is just like, you hear it so much now because I think it hasn't been talked about. It hasn't been, and especially as Black women, a lot of times I think it just really it's just a taboo thing of you better do, and especially sometimes with single moms, they have this thing of I've got to do it all. Nobody who knows, I'm done bad, I'm by myself. They don't want to, but there's like no choice. So you take it on, and then you don't want anybody else in to see that you don't have it all together.
And I will say, what we've done as a group of colleagues and friends is we've reached out to one another. We stay in constant contact. Charlie and I drove 3.5 hours to check on our boo.
And they saw that I was not okay. No, I'm just kidding. They say, check on your friends with 2 and 3-year-olds. We are not okay.
So we're around for one another, and we sometimes end up having to be that person that will listen to that person's problems and not say anything.
Right.
And just be an ear. And sometimes go, girl, I know how you feel, but you know what? Put your big girl drawers on and let's step back in the game. And I've been blessed with a very good circle, and they're a little splintered right now. And we're going to pray that she comes a little closer, but
we can always, and that's a good thing about, just when you have that connection, you can text, you can FaceTime, you can do other things to keep connected with your sisters, with the people that are your, support system, because it doesn't always have to be just like how we're doing this, or just like how when you start what you're doing, it's going to be a thing of reaching out and reaching back, no matter if someone is in your face or touchable, tangible or not.
So Deidre Henry says also it's very taboo to experience problems when you are in a helping profession.
And for you guys that don't know, Deidre Henry is another one of our colleagues, our support system. She is in South Carolina right now, and we'll probably come and have lunch with you.
It's as she continues, it's seen as how can you help others if you can't help yourself. And then again, like as a mom, putting all of that together, like you're supposed to be able to do all of those things
and
all
do
at once and do it seamlessly. You're supposed to have a smile on your face, and
like she says, have it all together, because it's almost like, do you want to go to a doctor that's not physically fit? Do you want to go to a doctor that has hypertension and has all these health issues? And it's like, how can you tell me what to do with my health if you're not doing what you're doing with your health? And so like she's saying, it's like a lot of times they're looking at you like, how can you help me if you don't have it together? So that's why I think so many times people don't want to show that when they're struggling. But I think it's important because you can still have issues and still do
a great job. I don't think that.
I think that's where the breakdown comes. Is like you can't do both. And I think you can do both. And I think in my opinion, as I've gotten older over the years, I'm like, I really think that everyone should mandatory have to talk to someone every year as like if I had a business or whatever, all my employees would mandatory need to talk to a mental health counselor, a person, every quarter, just to check in and just to say how they're doing. Just do a little quick self-care assessment, and just, for care and wellness, because so many times I think it's like looked at negatively if, oh, you're going to see someone for help, whatever. But no, I want to make it a part of, just like you go get a physical every year. You see, that needs to be just a part of your regular health care. I think that's something great to offer as an employee. I'd definitely be happy. Because so many people want to do it, but it's like if everybody has to do it, then you're not singled out. It's like because everybody
has to do it. It's just a part of.
Exactly, just a routine. I gotta go see, so do my yearly assessment. Cool. So.
Well, we've done a lot of talking today, and I want to thank the people that joined us. And we're learning how to use this platform to help other women that look like us, that have problems like us, to make it easier, make it comfortable, be a shoulder, be a friend, be a guide, and a support. This is not a place where we're going to put anyone down or make anyone feel bad. This is a place that we want to be safe, and hopefully we'll be able to do this on a regular basis. If not with Ashante, she might have to drive to come see us.
They can FaceTime me in. There's a way, not FaceTime, there's a way to add me in.
Okay, we can add you. Okay, see, I'm learning some more. So we'll have some other people for a seat at the table coming really soon, and I want to thank everybody for joining us, and you ladies for being so transparent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
And I don't know if there are any resources or whatever. If anybody has any questions, they can comment for you. So follow back up with them.
Okay, and I will put some stuff out maybe about just checking in. If you have two friends, something that you guys will want to use back and forth, a check-in, check-out, something we used to use in the school. Just your mental health check-in, and sometimes just a quick text or a quick call. It doesn't have to be where you drive 3.5 hours to your girl's house. All right, guys, thanks. Bye.
Did you think I was